Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Just now getting down here to the studio. We went to the grocery store last minute and we were shopping. We looked at the time, realized it was late. I'm like, we got to go. So we just now walked into the door and I ran downstairs to get things going for the 4 p.m. show. Thanks for coming by, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully we have better performance with the tech today. I've made some changes again, so we'll see how that goes. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Hey, Mateo, man, good to see you, brother. And hello goes Nancy T, my dear. Hello, and Cindy Y, Natty, brother, how you doing? Purple Winks and Paula K. Widener. I hope you're out here. I hope you're doing better. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, we just, like I said, we just walked in the door, ran down here to the studio to get things fired up. And here we are. And you're going to probably, I don't know if you can hear the dog carrying on upstairs or not. For people that have followed this channel for some time, Mrs. Who had a Chihuahua who we lost about 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. So they were there for a longest time. We did not have a yapper. Now we have 2 yappers. Neither one are Chihuahuas. One is a Pomeranian, and the other one is a Morkie, which I guess is a combination hybrid. I don't know, whatever specialty breed of I don't know, 2 different breeds of dogs. I don't know what they are, but she's cute. And then the Pomeranian's just he's just a Pomeranian, I guess. Very territorial, very defensive of his mommy. All right, Nancy. So you cannot hear the dog. That's good, because hopefully that means you guys will not have to listen to the cage tonight as well. We'll find out when we start up the show at 6. Good to see everyone. All right, Mateo, man. Neither one of them have been on the show here lately. I know Donald's not been around since last season. Barbara pops in every once in a while, so but I'll make sure to say hi to her for you if she shows up. So what are we going to talk about today for stacking? What are we going to talk about today? I could show off some more stuff I picked up from the LCS Thursday. And I had every intent today to go to my local hardware store. Well, in this case, it would be Menards, or maybe Lowe's, to pick up a rain gutter diverter to divert water into a container. And I was actually going to try to showcase that today, but then, like I said, just went to the grocery store and had to hurry up and get down here to fire up the stream. So we'll save that for another day. Just got a 10-minute reprieve. Okay, I got you, Mateo, man. Hi, Carrie. Good to see you. And Unlocked, how you doing over there in the UK? Good to see you, Unlocked. Glad you can make it. Let's talk about, I'm bringing up something on my browser here. Just give me just 1 second here. I found a video. I think I saved it. I want to, hopefully I did. Found a video on rain catchment this past week. I was wanting to share with you guys. Let's see, where's it at? Where did I save that? Where did I save that? Well, I may not have saved it after all. I did find a video out there on YouTube about someone making a homemade rain catchment diverter. I thought that's interesting, but I'm sure they, well, in fact, I did show you guys a diverter last week, I believe it was. Rainwater diverter. Let's do this. Let's bring up this browser. There we go. We'll use this. There we go. So, rainwater diverter. I think that's what I searched on it for last week. And this guy here made a homemade, in fact, you know what? Actually, this was the guy that I saved. Okay, so I did save that video. This guy here, so this guy here's got some 4 55-gallon blue barrels, and he created his own rainwater catchment diverter system right there. And I do not have any audio coming out. So he created this system, and as you can see here, I can walk it through because I watched this. So he took this 4-inch PVC pipe with a, looks like a 2-inch side port. He actually took this and he actually put a 2-inch pipe within this 4-inch pipe. And he positioned it to where this would allow the water to fill into the barrels until the water in the barrels reached up to the level of that 2-inch diverter on the side of that side of that 4-inch pipe there. And then once the water got to that point, it would then release back into the downspout onto the ground. So I'm not going to do that, but that's, so basically he took a 4-inch pipe, he had some type of cap, and then he drilled a 2-inch hole inside this cap that he's showing right there. And then he dropped in a 2-inch pipe inside this cap, sealed it. In a way he explains that the water will divert into the barrels first, and then once the water reaches a certain level inside the barrels, then it will spill over and then back down to the downspout. Hi Angie, good to see you. And Richard, welcome. So he took a downspout and he cut out basically a shield. And he's going to drop that shield into this 4-inch pipe. So the rainwater comes down, hits that shield, and diverts to either side of that shield into the outer perimeter of that diverter that you see there. And then that outer perimeter drains off to the side. And then once the barrels fill up with water, eventually that water will get to the top of that diverter. And then any rainwater that falls down after that will basically spill into the center pipe and down into the rest of the downspout. But that seems like an awful lot of work. But that's definitely one way to do it. If I had audio, I would be able to share it with you.
Back down.
Let's see if that does anything.
So that's the theory.
Let me know if you guys can hear
We're gonna
that.
hook this all up and see how it works.
Yeah, I don't see any audio going out. So. And then what he does for the exit, for the water that's going into the barrels, he actually uses screen mesh, as you see right there. He just fits it over the
that should filter out
size of the 2-inch pipe
that comes off the roof.
And he uses that screen mesh as a filter, which would catch the debris coming out of that diverter there. It would catch that debris.
Seems to be working. But I'm still getting a lot of water.
And as you can see here, when he fills up this diverter,
I might need to raise this up a little bit.
Because of that shield that's inside that diverter, it will actually spill on either side of that 2-inch pipe and then fall through the side port, which is where that screen is, and then that pipe from the side port goes to the barrels.
All right, we've got a new pipe.
And then by him doing it this way, he can actually raise and lower that 2-inch pipe within that 4-inch pipe in order to raise and lower the water level inside the barrels themselves.
The gutter to the bottom.
And the way those barrels are set up, he actually fills the barrels from the underneath.
Reseal it with hot glue and put the whole thing back together. And let's give this a try.
I believe he has vents on the top of the barrels to allow air to escape.
Better. We're just getting a little bit of water out the bottom, but this will work great.
So it's definitely one way of designing your own catchment. But it seems like
so it's been
for amount of money that he had, the cost of having a 4-inch pipe like that with a 2-inch offshoot, you can probably buy a diverter for about the same cost. And there is what the screen has picked up from a rain after a rain. So that was pretty nasty stuff there that was not passed down into the barrels. That's pretty cool.
One of the drawbacks of this design is that it does
collect a lot of dirt and debris in here, and there's no good way to clean it out except just to dump it. That screen mesh that he puts in there, keeps that dirt from getting into the barrels themselves.
This season, but we'll try it out for the season and see how well it works. I've got a few ideas for the next version of the custom diverter, but we'll save that for a future
Definitely
project.
One way of doing creating a rainwater catchment diverter.
But I'd say at least for the time being, this DIY diverter is working pretty well.
Yeah, you could easily
go
out and they make them. I think they're only like, what, $20? I think I saw them last week. Hey, Paula.
Snap your W-2
good to see you.
and
Hope
file
you're
your
doing
simple tax
well.
return with both Fed and State for free. See if you qualify. Get the TurboTax app now.
And stay strong, as I said in that email to you.
Hey,
stay
Vinny,
strong.
Where'd you get that shirt?
Hey, Stickerville, where do you think I got it?
I don't know.
All right, Mateo, man, you have a good evening, afternoon. We'll see you next time.
Whatever you want.
Duty calls.
Can I get one with shrimp on it?
You know, some people are allergic to shrimp.
Commercial. Go away. So different ways. Here's a different way to collect rainwater.
How to build a rainwater collection system. Hello and welcome to Video Jug. Waste not, want not. Isn't that what they say? Oh, they like to talk a lot.
I actually this past week, and I actually
especially when it comes to water,
as well as part of
the average person wastes about 30 gallons of water every day.
I actually
building a rainwater collection system could save you up to a third of your total water usage in your yard.
Gutter filters or gutter screens on my gutters.
You will need
at least one of my gutters this past week.
A paint strainer, a 5-gallon bucket, A 55
And
gallon
primarily
drum
to
with a
keep
lid.
the debris from
Downspout
collecting
fittings.
inside the gutter and down into the
A
drain.
gutter
Which my
strainer.
house has drains that go
3 cinder
to the
blocks.
street. I think I mentioned this
A
before, so I don't
3/4
want
inch
debris
spigot with a
getting down
1/4
to the
inch
underground
turnball valve. A permanent black
plumbing
marker.
to causing it to clog. So
A
I
jigsaw.
I had
a
this
power drill with a
screen
7/8 inch
that
spade
was
bit.
actually was placed
A
inside
half-round
of the
bastard file.
downspout, and then I
A
went out
utility
and
knife.
picked up some full
And 1
gutter
1/4
screws
inch
a
galvanized
couple
wood
months
screws.
back, and I just installed one
Step 1.
gutter
Cut a bucket.
with this new screen.
The top of your rainwater collection
to
system is
keep
made
the
by
debris
cutting the
from
top
getting
off of a
into
5
the
gallon
gutter,
bucket.
the big stuff
With your
anyway.
7/8 inch spade bit
then
already
the small
attached to your
stuff,
power drill, put a hole in the side of the 5 gallon
will
bucket
drain
to get your
down to the
jigsaw
road,
rolling
but
and cutting easily.
That is just
Use
the
your permanent
first step
marker on the top of the
to
5 gallon bucket
setting
and
up the rain
trace around the
catchment.
top
So
of the
I have
55
my
gallon
water.
drum.
I have
Just
my
like you cut
rainwater
the
being
starter
somewhat
hole in the
cleaned
5
out,
gallon
or
bucket.
filtered out
Use
by
your
the
drill with a 7/8 inch spade bit
gutter
and put a hole in the top
screen
of the
I
55
installed
gallon drum.
this past week.
Follow the guideline
And
around the
then-
top of the barrel. The top of the 5 gallon
And
bucket
then I'm
should
going
fit
to
snug in the opening of the
set
55
up a
gallon
rain
drum.
diverter
Step
and
2.
set up simple
Spout
barrels.
it out.
You can go to like
No one likes a leaky spout,
your local
especially when the
hardware
whole point of your
store or
rainwater
your
collection system is to
Walmart
reduce
or
the
whatever,
amount of wasted
pick up
water.
a 30-gallon
A sure
barrel,
way to get your spout to
plastic
fit
barrel
nice
with
and
a
tight
lid.
into the bottom of
And
your
actually, I've
55
seen
gallon
another video
drum
out here. I'll see if I
is
can
to
find
drill
it
a
or not. But
hole
basically,
using your
they
7/8
took this
inch
lid,
spade
flipped it
bit.
upside down, drilled
Then
holes
take
into
your
the
half-round
handle,
bastard file and
which was
file
molded
down the
into this
inside of the hole until
molded
you
into
have a
this
nice
lid.
fit and can
They actually
screw the
drilled holes
3/4
into this
inch
handle,
spigot
put
in
screen mesh
securely.
on inside
When
this
you have a good
handle
fit,
to
set
keep
your
the
drum up on the
debris
cinder
out, and then they
blocks.
actually just turned the lid upside down,
Step 3.
sat
In
it
the
on
gutter.
top of the barrel or on
Using
top
the
of the
existing
can.
downspout from your gutters,
Took
add
some
an extension to
took
run down
some,
into the collection barrel. Any
took some
hardware
zip
store will
ties to
carry a
secure
variety
the
of
lid to
extensions and
the
fittings for this.
can so it doesn't
Make
blow
sure to
off or
save the
whatever,
receipt
keep
so you
critters
can
out or
return any
whatever.
of the unused
And
fittings.
then the
Measure and mark
di-
where you
and
need to
then
cut the fitting so that the
downspout
end
was
will
just
run into
diverted
the
and
top of
straight
your
into
rainwater
this
collection
lid.
barrel.
And so when it rained,
Most
the
fittings are
lid,
made of
which is
flexible
upside down, would
plastic and
collect
can
the
be cut
water,
with a utility knife.
funnel it
It
into
may be
this
necessary
handle,
to
which is
use
also
a
upside
splice
down
to fit
inside the
the end
barrel.
of your existing
And then
downspout
inside
into
of
the
the inside of
extension.
the inside the
Push these two
handle,
pieces together until they're nice and
how
snug.
the handle is molded
Use
with this
brackets to
lid,
secure the
on the
fittings to the
inside
side
of
of
this
your
handle,
house.
he put a screen mesh in to
Step
filter
4.
out the debris.
A proper fit.
So the rain goes,
Before
gets
retiring your
collected
jigsaw
and
for the
funneled
day,
into the
you need to cut a hole in the
to
lid
the
of your
inside of this
5-gallon
lid,
bucket,
and
as this will
then
keep large objects from falling into the
diverts
collection
into
barrel.
the
Measure
can
around the
with
opening of your drain and use the 7/8
three
inch spade bit
holes
to drill a
that's
starter
drilled
hole.
into the handle.
Cut the remainder
And
of the
then those
lid with your
holes are covered with
jigsaw and
mesh,
place the lid on the
screen
top
mesh
of
to
the
protect
bucket
it
to
from
check for
debris.
a proper fit. Step
This is a
5.
different way of doing it here.
Strain the drain.
Using, looks like
Standing
5-gallon
water can be a haven
buckets.
for mosquitoes.
I'm not sure why
An
you
important
would
thing to
create such
keep
a
in
big
mind when
opening
putting
like that.
together your rainwater collection system is to make sure and secure a
Almost looks
paint
like he's
strainer to
using
the top of the
cheesecloth.
bucket. This will keep large objects and mosquitoes from getting into the
Paint
barrel and
strainer, there
spoiling
you
your
go.
water supply.
So there you go. You
To
can use a
prevent any
paint
collected
strainer
organic
cloth
matter from hanging too far into the
filter out
rain
the
barrel,
water.
tie a knot in the strainer before installing it in the lid. It's also a good idea
All right,
to place
unlock.
a
We'll see
gutter
it.
strain
We'll
in
see
the
it.
open
And then
gutter on
that
your roof
strainer
to
that
keep
he's
large
putting in right
debris
there,
from
actually, that's
making
why I
its
had
way down
originally
the
on my
fittings and
downspout, but I've
potentially
since
clogging the gutters.
gotten rid of that, and I
A
now have
rainwater
a full
collection
length
system not only helps your
gutter
plants and your
filter, or
pocketbook,
gutter
but it's so much
screens.
fun. You may never
So
need to
that
recruit
catches
help
the
around the
real
yard
big
again.
stuff.
Done.
Yeah, that's stuff as big as a maple seed, maple leaf, or maple seed. You know, I call them helicopters. And it will keep that stuff from falling into the gutter and clogging up the gutter and whatnot. And that'd be
This
like
unit
one
was installed
filter.
in the
So
middle
I
of
have
winter,
my
and we had
gutter. I
some
have my
questions
gutter
about whether it was going to keep
screen
up with our Minnesota ground
as one
cold water
filter,
temperature.
Since we've had the tankless hot water heater and
and then
As you may have seen in one of my recent
before
videos,
the water gets
I've just
diverted
finished
into
putting
the
together a
barrels, I would
rain
have
barrel system
another
for our
screen.
backyard.
And the principle is going to be the same regardless on how
The first
they
video
do
goes
it.
into some detail on
But
how
you're
the
collecting
table
water
and the
off of
barrels
your
were
roof.
built and piped
And
together.
you're using, like
This
in my
video
case, a
is
gutter
going to
screen
focus on
to
the
filter out the really
diverter.
big stuff, and then
There's
divert
a
the
lot of
water
commercial options
into
available out there
barrels
for
through a filter like you
rainwater
see here
diverters
that this
will
guy
take water
installed
off
here.
of your downspout
downspout and divert
yeah.
it off into a rain barrel system.
So it's
buying one of
obviously
these
it's
off the
not
shelf
potable
isn't any
water,
fun,
but it can be
and
used for
I kind of enjoy
everything
a
else
good
in your
engineering
house.
challenge.
And then if a worst case
Since we
scenario,
get
you
so
could
much
use that
rain
water,
out of that
boil
gutter
it,
on the
or,
back of the house,
or purify
I
it.
wanted to try my hand at
in
making
order
my
to
own,
consume it if you need to.
rainwater diverter with some nice big PVC
Oh, Anna, I'm
tubing
crazy.
and
Good to see
fittings
ya.
to get nice high water flow through the system.
Yeah, I saw it, Paula. I
And
saw
so
where
the
you
idea
put
would be
videos out
is I
this
started off
past
with
week.
this
I
4-inch,
figure you were
T
doing
here.
that just to get your
This
mind off
piece
the
right
stuff.
here
So fully
is
understandable.
basically just a
Yeah, I've been
reducer
watching your videos, putting
that
likes in there.
fits
Or
inside
smashing your thumb and
of
stuff.
the
So
4-inch fitting.
I've been watching. I've been watching.
And I think
I've
it
been
was-
watching you, Paula.
It was down to a smaller size, but I
Keeping my
cut out
eye on
this
you
hole
now.
with a hole saw to make it large enough for this piece of PVC. I think this is 2-inch. And put the PVC
That's
down through
definitely one
here,
of the things that, you know,
tacked it in place
as a
with the
public
screw just to keep it from
community
moving,
as we are, we've got
and
to
then
be able
sealed up the
to
gap with
support
hot
each
glue.
other and love each other whenever
And
someone's
then
having a hard
Right
time.
here at
So
the base, I've just got a tiny
you know
drainage
as
hole.
well as everyone else out
After the
here
rain
in
is
the
done,
on
Any
the
excess
show this
water in here
evening
will
that,
be able to
you know,
slowly
we're all
drain out.
thinking
So
about
this
you.
whole
and
assembly
We'll do what we can to support you the best we
gets
can, Paula.
just press fit into the bottom here. I took a piece of this 2-inch by
Alright, let's see if I
3-inch
can
vinyl
find-
downspout. I took that
So they do make diverters, pre-molded diverters. This is one I was looking at last week. Hopefully we don't see commercials by Viagra like we did last week. But as you can see, this guy here diverts the water into, looks like an 1.5-inch pipe or tube. No other pictures besides for that guy there. So it's like I said, it's 22 bucks, and so compared to spending 22 bucks for something like this compared to making your own, I mean, if you have the parts laying around to make your own, cool. But I don't have parts laying around. I would have to go out and buy those parts, and by the time I got done buying all the parts, I probably end up spending more than 22 bucks. By the time you factor in the cost of me going over there, the time and labor involved to make it, for 22 bucks, I can probably just go out and buy it. Let's see. What else do we have here? There's an idea. You can filter your water or make it potable. But, nah. A lot of people install pumps into their barrels in order to have pressurized water so they can use it to spray gardens and whatnot. So the big thing about what
And
you want
the
to
idea
do with
generally was that
attachment is
the
making
gutter
sure to filter out
here
as
would run
much
into
as
the
you
rain
can
barrel
before
here,
it is
and this would keep out the mosquito larvae and, you know,
So,
things from the ash
like
tree.
I said,
and
you know, I'm going to have my
stuff from
screen
the-
filters, my
stuff
gutter
from the gutter.
filters.
It works great, except when the
screens
rain barrel fills, then this whole
catch
region
the
here would just
really
flood
big
with
stuff
water.
coming
And
down
our
off
roof,
the roof.
such as it is,
And then I'm
fills
gonna
up
have
this
another
rain barrel
filter
very
going
quickly,
before it
and
goes to the
then
barrels,
water goes
or
everywhere.
the
So we had
bucket
to
or
buy this
cans or
thing, which
whatever
is
I
called a
decide to use.
diverter, and inside of it is a mechanism that guarantees that if there's water up to the height of the hose, then that fills this pool right in here, and
I can
the
get some
gutter
audio on
water
this
then
guy.
pours over down into the proper gutter as it used to be. See that? Oh, there's a happy place for the water to go. And then I can get the water away from the dang house. So that's a completed system right there. Actually, it's got this Fiska's brand has another connector
this
kit that
does
they sell.
anyway.
Fiskars.
Let me know when you guys hear
So I have
anything.
another rain barrel like this, and I'll take it over. I just have to make sure that the output of this guy is the same height as the input to the rain barrel. No problem. And then
So
I'm going to put another
simple
one over on this side so we
vacuum
can double
hose
our
could be
rainwater
used to
collection. We'll
divert
see
the
if we're
water. It
using
doesn't have to
But
be
today I
really
thought I'd show you about the
expensive unless
other
you want it to
system
be.
that I bought, and I'm just going to run those two
The
next to each other and see which
from what
one
I can
works
tell,
better.
the most
So, front
expensive
yard.
part of this type of stuff is the actual creating or acquiring the diverter. So, But yeah, I'm trying to find a video, that one video where the guy just used their trash cans with lids turned upside down. Because that would be so simple. You spend what, $10 or whatever for a 30-gallon trash can. But yeah, I don't see it now, but I'll have to find it and remember to save it, because I thought I had saved it. That's not it. So does anyone out here have any type of rain harvesting or rain catchment system set up? I mean, obviously, you know, when I'm talking about this type of stuff, I'm talking about in order to retain water for use around the house, if for some reason you don't have access to the water anymore. Hey, Sailor, good to see you. And Eli, welcome. But a lot of people a lot of these videos that you see here, I'm finding out here, a lot of the videos, they're doing rain catchment in order to water their gardens and utilize water around their, a lot of them have a gardening, that's their business there. They have a landscape, or they have a gardening business, and they use a lot of water, so they catch water to reduce the cost of water or their water usage. So a lot of these people that have put something like this together, they have very large IBC, which I think are for like 4,000 or 5,000 gallon containers. So, you know, obviously, you know, you could go that big if you needed to, but for the need of having water in case things go bad, this is, you know, a small platform, a small footprint, it would be more than sufficient to water, or to have non-potable water around the house. So yeah, it is, if you're allowed to do it, obviously, it is definitely one way to reduce your cost of consuming water, or utilizing water, I should say, not consuming, but utilizing water harvested, to reduce any cost if you are on a utility. And like I said, people that have gardening centers, they collect water so they can use it around the garden center, so they can reduce their consumption or their use of water. But for us, it would work for us too in a bad situation. And I think these guys right here, these diverters, same principle as what that guy showed us on the homemade diverter. So as you can see, the water will fall around this opening in the middle. It is a filter. I mean, it's going to catch or prevent big stuff from falling into your barrel. But anyway, the water is diverted around the center opening through this filter, which then drains out into your barrels. And then as the water fills up in your barrels, once this pipe fills up with water, then the water will basically just back up in here, and then eventually will spill over into the center opening down through your rest of your downspout. So same principle as what that one guy made. So yeah, hey Sailor Goat, good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, that's, and you can, like I said, you can easily take all sorts of videos out here you can find out here on how to do this. And I'm actually leaning towards the one where you're just using the trash can with the lid turned upside down so the lid becomes a funnel. Drill a couple holes in the center of the lid, that, you know, which would be the lowest point on that lid if it's upside down. Drill a couple holes to allow the water to funnel into the hose. Put some screen mesh across the hose to catch the debris, and then the water falls into the trash can, or the water can in this case. And, you know, because it's not these big blue 55-gallon barrels or these crazy 5,000 or whatever size gallon IBCs here that you see here, it's not so obvious in laying around stuff laying around your, you know, water catchment laying around around your property. A 30-gallon trash, or a 30-gallon trash can converted to a water can, it's not going to draw too much attention, right? If you have some shrubbery around the house and that shrubbery happens to be there where your downspout is, you could very easily hide a 30-gallon trash can behind the shrubbery, and that can could be used as rain catchment. There's another one that is a 3x4. I think that's the size of guttering I have, a 3x4. I wish it would have pictures of the inside of these guys.
This year, turn winter blues into winter green at your Club Wyndham Resort destinations.
Hey everybody, my name is Eric, and today I'm going to show you how to install a rainwater diverter on your gutter, your downspout, to collect rainwater from your house. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a section from my downspout and install this rainwater diverter, which I got online for about 10 bucks. This one's called Catch a Raindrop or Rainwater Colander. I'm sure there's different varieties.
I can see what I want to do in my head. That's the big thing, is getting an idea in your head and then going for it. Yeah, wonder if I can rain diverter. If I can find it, I'll show it to you guys. With the trash can. Rain catchment system trash can. There it is. I don't know if this is the exact one, but here it is. Here's something similar.
I'm going to turn this trash can into a gutterless rain catchment system.
Yeah, this isn't the exact same video, but I think the principle still applies. 12 minutes long. It doesn't have to be that long, folks. Fast forward. All right. All right, so you have a 30-gallon trash can there. Lid's upside down.
Right now, this
guy's
is going to
put a
be
mesh.
up,
He's
so
going to drill some holes where the handle would be if you had that lid right side up.
Duct tape it on.
He's going to drill some holes,
so
and then he's going to glue that mesh to around the hole to prevent anything from getting around the mesh or getting around the screen, and water's going to fall in there. Now he's going the extra step. The other video I found, they took the extra step of actually installing a spigot at the bottom or near the bottom of the barrel or of the can.
Go ahead and drill about 3 or 4 holes.
I mean, if you're going to have a permanent setup, and then you're going to to leave your lid on this barrel or on
trying
this
to go
can,
as slow as I can so it doesn't crack it.
then it would make sense to have a spigot, because otherwise you're going to have to take the lid off, and taking it on and off like that would get old after a while, I would think.
Put too much pressure on it.
Dang, I hate when that happens. Hey, Orlando, good to see you, 717. Welcome, brother.
Get my
So I'm
lay it over.
I'm showing some videos out here on how to collect rainwater cheap.
That one went through a lot easier.
Yeah, but cheap house,
wasn't really expecting to go that easy.
almost too easy. So now he's gonna have to clean out that trash can now with all that plastic and shavings down the bottom. But again, this is not for consumption, so you could leave it dirty, if I suppose. But why would you?
This hole's all jacked up. As long as it lets water through, that's all that matters. Alright. I'll just lay that screen on there.
Hopefully, I don't know if you guys can hear that. Not hopefully you're getting audio. I don't hear it on my side. I normally don't hear audio on my shows. That's something I'm working to address, but it's going to require me to spend a chunk of money
that's probably gonna be
trying
good
to
enough.
avoid
I don't think I need
spending.
to put another piece of cross,
But I may
will
have
add a
to
little more
eventually.
tape just to
So this guy's using masking
on a
or
little
duct
bit better.
tape to do this. I would use hot glue myself. Hot glue the screen to the lid, because that's, he's going to turn this lid upside down, and in time I would think that the glue would become dry or whatever, and it would start peeling away,
that's
and
what it's
then
going to look like. The
that
water
screen
will
could
collect
pull
on
away
here,
from
go
the
down
hose. So
and through there, and keep all the leaves and stuff
yeah,
out.
that's all he's doing. So
Alright, so now I
he's
got
drilling
the
the
lid
hose,
done.
and
I went ahead and flipped the trash can over on its side.
he will
I'm gonna
attach
drill
that
a hole
lid
here.
permanently to that can. I'm going to drill the hole there to install the spigot right there. And you always want to draw, when you're making one of these, you always want to, if you're going to install a spigot, you always want to go a couple inches above the bottom of the container. That way it doesn't get obstructed by debris or stuff that ends up settling in the bottom of the bucket or the can or whatever.
So I'm just going to try to drill this out.
So that's what he's doing there. There we go.
All right, so we're going to stick this in now. Like I said, I had to maneuver it in a little bit, which is okay. It's a little bit later.
Recordings just got
commercial.
better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that
Later in the day now, I want to make sure that silicone had a little bit of...
Jump the forge of this guy. So yeah, he's going to simulate a rain. So water falls into the lid.
It would still be able to recede fairly quickly.
He's just using bungee straps to secure the lid to the can.
All right, so now that you can see it's starting to go
Water
down, I'm
falls,
going to go ahead
gets
and move you back
collected,
so you guys
funneled,
can see
gets
the
funneled to the
spouts
center
over
of
here
the
and see if
lid,
they're leaking
which
or
is
not.
basically the handle of the lid. And
You can see it
falls into
trickling
the bucket
down.
or into the can. So
I'm going to have to move the
that's
camera here in a second so it
that's
doesn't
like a
shoot me right in the
$10
face.
rain catchment right there. And he's got an
All right, so
overflow
there it goes.
there, and so
you
when
can
the
see
bucket, when that gets so
There's no
full,
water
and
coming
these
out here is
excess
what
will
I
spill
didn't
out.
want. That's
And
why I
then you can
installed
take
this
that
here, so it
overflow
will
and
start to overflow this
spill
way
it into another
and not push the lid
can
up.
or whatever.
So looks like everything worked pretty good.
But yeah, that's
I'm
exactly.
actually quite surprised.
That's
Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on, and we're gonna see
your can
how
would
much
be
it
like
actually comes out of the hose. over here.
$10. That little overflow thing will probably be like a couple bucks. Your spigot at the bottom could be like
There
I
you
don't know,
go.
$10, something like that. So for $10 to $30, you can have a rain catchment system.
Enough
And
to,
the only thing
water the
that you
animals
have to
and
do
Maybe water some
is
plants
to
and
place
stuff,
it
so
underneath,
I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off.
or place it underneath a downspout. Now you would obviously would have to cut the downspout
It is leaking out the backside over here, which is totally
and
fine.
set up a
And you can
elbow in
also,
order for the
put
water
another bucket
to
here and catch this water if you want, or just have it where
collect into the
it
lid.
shoots the water into a trough or
But
something.
you cut your downspout, say
Alright,
for
so I'm gonna turn the
example,
generator off so I don't have to
36
waste
inches
any more water.
off the ground where
But you can
where
see
that
over here,
can is,
it's
and then the elbow diverts the water into the lid, and then into the can, and then you have catchment. Hey Joe, good to see you. Want to know how you use a drill follower?
There was still water coming in the hose, so I'm gonna move that out of the way.
So yeah, that's something that's actually I'm actually thinking that's exactly what I'm going to do, is to create rain catchment using trash cans, 30-gallon trash cans. They're not so obvious to where you can put them behind shrubbery if you happen to have shrubbery around your house. Put them behind some shrubbery so they cannot be seen from the road, but yet they're collecting water. If you happen to have that shrubbery near your downspouts, that would be, you know, they're not going to stand out so obvious. If you don't have shrubbery, they're not going to stand out so obvious because, you know, they're black trash cans. No one's really going to think about black trash cans as being water catchment. So they're going to see trash cans. So it goes all the way back to the, as I said last week, I think it was, be the gray man. You don't want to stand out. You don't want people to see that you have all this resource laying around your house. You know, if I had the property and I had the, would I do something like, if I lived out in the country, would I do something like bury a tank and catch the water into this tank? No. I mean, if I lived out in the country, hell, I would just line up my house all the way around my house with barrels to catch water, because, you know, no one's going to care, especially if I live out in the country to where I cannot be seen from any direction. And that has always been my dream, which at least at one time it has always been my dream. At one time I wanted one square mile of wooded property with my house smack dab in the middle. That way no one can see me. And I used to joke with everyone in the past when I say that. I used to say that. And then if I decide if I want to go run around butt ass naked outside my house, no one's going to care because no one can see me. If I want to run around my birthday suit, I can. That's what I wanted many years ago. 1 square mile of acreage from my house smack dab in the middle. But then you got to pay property taxes. So I started with 1 square mile, and then I went down to 20 acres with my house smack dab in the middle and surrounded by trees. And then I came down to 3.5 acres, which is what I had for many years out in the woods. Now I have a little bit over a half an acre in a neighborhood now. So as I've gotten older, I've scaled back my wish list on being that isolated, because as you get older, you sort of have to you start becoming a little bit more dependent on services like ambulances, medical facilities, fire, police in case you need them. It was more, for me, the concern was having readily available access to medical facilities and emergency transportation like an ambulance if I would ever need it, or if Mrs. Who would ever need it. So, but yeah, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I absolutely wanted 1 square mile of woods with my house smack dab in the middle. Of course, I don't think this area where I live at has anything like that. I would have to go to some larger state like Texas or something like that, but they don't really have Texas may not have a whole lot of ways to hide me from 1 square mile of property. So that, plus if I live on 1 square mile of property and I have a driveway that comes off the road that's like a half mile long, if someone's coming down that driveway, I'm going to know long before they know that I know that they know. Long before they know that I know they're there. You know, a half a mile of road between your house and the public road is plenty of time. If someone's coming down that road, or if someone's coming down your driveway for a half a mile, they have purpose. So I wish I had that isolation, but at the same time, I wish I had that isolation, but yet still have relatively easy access to medical facilities and emergency services. I don't know if you can have that, if you can have it both ways or not, because you have to be You have to have a large piece of property, but still within a somewhat urban area, not in an urban, but somewhat populated area. So you would have access to those services. Let's see, what's this one here? Sensible Prepper. Now, you guys always talk about Sensible Prepper. He's one of the ones I follow regularly.
Today we're going to take a look at making a very simple rain catchment system. And there's a lot of different type systems out there, but this is one of the most simple. Just take your 55-gallon barrel and we're going to set it up, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Of course, having gutters is part of the process. When we had our gutters put in, I had them cut them to a certain height, just so we could work with it in that configuration. But you can adapt your gutter system and your downspouts. We are using a 55-gallon drum, and this is water safe, and you need to make sure that it is. This one actually came from the Barrel Superstore. It's actually here in town in Greenville, South Carolina, but you can order parts and things from the Barrel Superstore. So I have a link down below in the description. I'm not affiliated. I went and bought all this stuff. There are a few tricks to it, but honestly, it's really simple. There are some more complicated systems. I've put them in myself over at our previous house. And you know, it works great, but this is, again, very simple and easy to do. Guys, you can only live 3 days without water in the rule of threes. And so having some kind of water source is vital. You could have just a contamination with your water source, municipal or city water, and really have to depend on something else. And creek water has a lot of different contaminants in it, and so you don't want to drink water straight out. In fact, even this rainwater, you want to make sure you treat it before you drink it. Personally, we have one of the big Berkeys. I highly recommend those. We use it on an everyday basis, but it will filter the water out. And you want to pre-filter it as well, because this water is coming off the roof and it's coming down, and of course
so
it's
yeah,
going to
so
sit
Sensible
in the sun,
Prepper,
and we'll try to use it and store it in between.
Obviously, he's got very strong.
This is a very simple system, guys. It takes you less than an hour to put it together. And if you're hearing a background noise, that is our AC units that are just right around.
But he's definitely one of the ones.
But it's too hot to turn them off.
And
now you can use different size barrels. This is a 55-gallon barrel. Sometimes you can raise these up if you want. The way I set my gutter, though, I don't have.
It's not anything super extraordinary. You know, it's your common practices in order to prep sensibly, which hence this channel is Sensible Prepper. So check him out. But yeah, it looks like he's taken just your typical open 55-gallon barrel, and he's created some type of lid to catch the water. I wish I could have audio. I could hear it. That's all right. I'll watch that. I'll save that and watch that later. I'll save it for later. But yeah, check out that guy. He's got a lot of good insight there. He's one, like I said, he's one of the ones I follow regularly. Another person I follow regularly is Pinball Preparedness. I've mentioned him before as well. And if you're concerned about aesthetics around your property, if that's something that you're concerned about, they do have designed barrels, like what looks to be an old bourbon barrel design here. A little bit fancier containers there. So you could dress it up a bit to where it's not so obvious. There's something that looks more like a planter than a barrel, but it looks more like a planter, right? And holds 50 gallons. And it's only looks to be about 32 inches tall. So again, if you have, you could have something that could go next to your house, and it could be, and it's not a blue standout blue color, so it could actually go, it could actually blend with your surroundings, so it wouldn't be so obvious. Yeah, he does have a lot of good tips about gardening for sure, anyway. And you know, just the fact he's, you know, he's so active in YouTube when it comes to stuff, and you can tell what he does is a full-time thing for him. You know, I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm talking about how he lives. That's a full-time thing. I don't think he actually works. He may be. I think he may actually be retired Navy. I think, but I believe he is. I think he's retired, and he spends a lot of time taking care of his property and gardening and talking about, you know, preparedness. You know, I'm pretty sure it's almost like a full-time thing for him around the house. Some people have that, the ability to be able to spend all that time around the house to do stuff like that. I wish I had that much time to do stuff. I would if I could. So yeah, check them out and show them some love when you do so. Hey, Chris G, good to see you. Welcome. And L. Shay McGravy, Super Deluxe Gaming Channel Plus. How you doing, brother? Welcome. How come we could drink from a creek when we were younger? Yeah. Does that type of waterway exist anymore, Purple Wings? I don't know. I don't know, because maybe if you're well out away from anything urban, I'm talking Montana, Idaho. I mean, I'm talking way out in the boondocks. The water might still be safe to drink straight from a creek. But so here you go. Check this out, guys. It's a little pricey though. I don't know if I want to spend that type of money. But that is actually water catchment, but it looks like a raised flower bed. And you can see the gutter coming in from behind. That's pretty cool. But yeah, that's a little too pricey for me. I don't want to spend $250 for a barrel. It's basically, and it's only a 40-gallon barrel on top of that. So now if you're wanting to be aesthetically pleasing around your property, you can spend $250.81 for this guy, but pass for me. So yeah, these designer barrels, sure, they may be aesthetically pleasing to where they're not so obvious, but like, you know, if you had something like this on the outside of your house, would you want that to be seen? Well, first of all, I sure in the hell wouldn't be paying that much money for it, but they're out there. But I would want that to be seen. That would be something. I'm still not going to pay $1,400 for it, but I would use something like this in my basement. If I was doing something like that, it would be for potable water. It would be in my basement, out of sight, out of mind. But again, I'm not spending $1,400 either. I'm cheap. So you have these screens that you can put over your barrels. Well, what's wrong with using like cheesecloth doesn't water flow through cheesecloth? How or just a screen? You know, cut a screen, grab a couple, one or two bungee straps and strap it around the barrel, the outside of the barrel with the screen. Yeah. Of course, now you know these mesh covers are only $19, but still, grab some screen and throw them over the barrel, and take some bungee straps and strap the screen around the barrel so it doesn't fall off or blow off. So I want to prep. I want to be sensible and prepping from a cost perspective too. And then you have some extremes like these 2,600 gallon bladders. I mean, I could actually set one of those up in my basement, but no thanks. Sensible. Think of sensible whenever you're trying to store water, you know. They say you should have, I've heard two different numbers. I've heard 1 gallon of water per person per day or 3 gallons of water per person per person per day. Now, is that the full number of gallons based off what should be potable versus what should be non-potable? So if you're looking for just potable water, 1 gallon of water per day, that seems reasonable. If you're looking for a total accumulation of water for bathing and washing and sterilizing and cleaning and drinking, then yeah, I could see 3 gallons per day be reasonable too. So originally I thought to myself, I'm going to have to get like 6 55-gallon drum blue barrels for down here in the basement for potable water. But if I'm looking at 1 gallon of water per person per day, and I want to maintain 3 months of water, and we're a family in that situation, if we were in a bad situation, it would be a family of 5 at that point. That's 5 gallons of water per day. A 55-gallon drum obviously would be 11 days. That doesn't seem very long. So I would have to go practically two barrels per month, more or less 2.5 barrels per month, times 3 months, because that's my goal, is to have 3 months worth of prep available to me. So that's on 7 to 8 gallons, or 7 to 8 barrels of water, 7 to 8 barrels of, or 55 gallon barrels of water. I got the room down here in the basement to set that up. That'd be easy enough. But, you know, that water would be, you know, strictly for drinking. It wouldn't be used for anything else. If I want to have additional water, I could set up these rain catchments and use that to flush toilets and clean with, disinfect, you know, because, you know, it's one of the biggest things about a bad situation is hygiene. If you don't keep yourself up because services are no longer available, hygiene is one of the things that quickly deteriorates in a bad situation. So you definitely want to keep water just to be able to bathe and to clean surfaces, and yeah, you can boil it if you need to drink it, but you can use it to cook with, you know, boil it to cook with too, for that matter. So, but if you're using water to cook with, I would be using my potable water, obviously. But in a bad situation, you can boil rainwater to cook with. Last ditch situation, but I would. Yeah, I wish I had access to things like that. Good to see you, Jamie. Wish I had access to things like that to where I could get for free barrels like that. That'd be cool. Be very cost effective, obviously. And like I said, I would only need up to 8 barrels. 8 barrels would give me, and doing math in my head, 8 barrels, 8 55-gallon barrels would give me 3 months of water for 5 people based off of 1 gallon of water per person per day. All right, Angie, we'll see you in a bit. Hey, Penny, good to see you. Yeah, exactly, Penny. You can use that screen for many things. In fact, I have to rescreen my porch. That's the primary reason for screen. But yeah, it can be used for many things. Makes great filters for lots of stuff. And that's another thing that a lot of people, if we ever get into a bad situation, people are going to have to become more innovative in regards to surviving. So use a screen, for example, to sift flour. Why not? You could. If you think about a sifter, the I don't know what the official term is, but the holes in the sifter that allows the flour to pass through as you're sifting, that's about the same size as a window screen. So if you didn't have a sifter, you could use a window screen. You could use a screen to sift through flour if you have to. So, and that's just, you know, and I mean, you think about stuff now and getting your brain mentally prepared for something in the future should it occur. And but you don't really think about those type of things until you actually are presented with a challenge to think of something to be an innovative. Like, I need to filter out something. Well, use a screen. Why not? I was actually thinking, and you know, my brain, the way it thinks, I was actually thinking about using coffee filters as my filter to pass water through as it's going to the barrels. That guy was using a screen mesh. I was actually thinking coffee filters, or even better, a screen mesh with a coffee filter. So you have your screen mesh directly, and then directly behind the screen mesh is a coffee filter. So the screen mesh is catching all the really big and all the bigger stuff, and the coffee filter is filtering even more finer stuff. Now again, it's not going to filter out your microbes and your microorganisms that will cause you to get sick and have bad stomach bugs and stuff like that. You would still have to purify the water even then, but all the sediment, I would think, after passing through a leaf filter on my gutter, and then a screen mesh going to my barrels, and then a coffee filter behind the screen mesh, I would think that there would be very little debris, very little sediment that would pass through, that would make it into the barrel at that point. At that point, it would be like water floating sediment, or microbes or something like that. Something that you would actually have to use bleach or whatever chemicals that's available out there to purify water or boil it. So I went to the LCS today, folks. Actually, you know what? Let me change gears really quick here. I went to the LCS Thursday. I went back today, but I want to show you what I picked up Thursday. And bring this camera down. And as a stacker, I don't care, but I picked up these really SHINEE'EES. Yeah, they have been polished. I picked up 20 of these walkers of various years, all polished, all in capsules, all with protection foam around them. That's the sticker. This was a silver dump, obviously. And look, this is double-sided tape, so they were obviously in some type of case that was set up to be so they could be displayed. But picked up and these walkers, and the biggest reason why I picked them up is because $50 are getting hard to come by. You know, if the LCS had a bargain bin full of really shiny $50 like this, and a bargain bin full of just $50 that were not this shiny, I would probably have went with the not so shiny ones, because I'm a stacker, damn it. Now, from a collector standpoint, yeah, they're shiny, but they've been polished. So what would they be of any value as a collector, as a numismatic, being so dang pretty? So I picked these up because it's just hard. It's just getting harder and harder to find constitutional. And they were just talking about that on Silver Dragon's show that he interviewed at a coin shop there near him in Oregon. And the consensus is everyone is saying the same thing. It's getting harder and harder to find constitutional silver. Obviously, they don't make it anymore, and people are holding on to it. As am I, holding on to it to preserve yourself and be able to afford to, or be able to pay for stuff in the back. Should we ever revert back to silver and gold as a medium of trade, or medium of exchange, whatever. But yeah, now some of these are pretty good looking, like this 42 Walker right here. The stuff, that white stuff again is the double-sided tape. But if you look, that's still got some really strong details of the Walking Liberty. And if you look, if you're familiar with, from the numismatic perspective, I guess the center line of the Liberty figure on these walkers is the one point that gets worn down quickly and frequently, and as you can see, it actually still has a lot of detail on it. Another common wear point, I believe, is the sun. I guess it wears down on this side as well. I remember seeing something somewhere about the wear points on a walker. The feathers of the eagle's still pretty clear. So this guy here is in really good shape. But I bought it because I need my stack. I need stack. I need, yeah, no numismatic value. I know, because they made it so dang pretty. But that's one of the beautiful things about being both a collector, or change that. One of the beautiful things about being a stacker and then a collector, as am I, is I will buy these both for the weight, hence why I got these Thursday. I bought it for the weight because I'm getting really low on my halves around here. But if I want to fancy my collector side of me, these are pretty nice looking coins. Granted, they're polished, unfortunately, but from a stacker standpoint, it's still silver. Glue be gone, yep. I was actually thinking rubbing alcohol myself there, Penny. But yeah, these were at the LCS Thursday, and they had a bunch of them. Bunch of Benjis that were polished as well, and I mean they were definitely kept as a collector item more than a stack item. Because if they were a stack item, I don't give a damn about how pretty they are. Their weight, man. So I picked up, like I said, I picked up 20 of those, and then Mrs. Hoosier took 5 for her collection. Or 4 or 5, something like that. She has a Walker book. So she went through and dug out what she needed. So yeah, I don't know what the previous owner used to polish them like they did, but they did polish them. This one not so much. But yeah, as a stacker, if there would have been a bin of naked walkers or Benjis there, not all pretty like these guys are, not in capsules like these guys are, I would have went with that bin before this bin. But as I said, Walker Constitutional is getting harder to come by anymore these days. Has anyone found any place online that still has Constitutional? Every place I have seen so far has been out. And then last time I checked Appnex, their price, even though they were sold out at the time, their price was like 31 times face. It's like, ugh, I can't do 31 times face. These guys here were 24 times face. So these guys, I think, were at or just under spot when I got them Thursday. So yeah, I gotta get some hand sanitizer to clean those off. Clean off those sticky stuff. But someone definitely took great pride in keeping these things polished. And I'm sure it was a silver dump by one of his customers there at the LCS. I'm sure it was a silver dump. Because I went back there today. It's all gone. There's nothing left in there from when it comes to Constitutional. The only thing he had left was 40s, which I cleaned him out of 40s. That's about it. This guy's good. I don't know why this guy's even in the capsule, but it is. No idea. Yep, alcohol on dairy clones. Do not holler at me because I have about alcohol. Gentle cleansing, maybe. I'm good with dealing with the nasty that's on there because they've been circulated. I would be okay with it myself. Some people would perform some light clean to get the grime off of it, but using Brasso is not recommended. But I'm sure some people do. Silver Secret had a video where he was showing a video where these women, probably not women, probably like teenagers or young women, were cleaning Constitutional with toothpaste and a toothbrush. And it's a little excessive. That's way excessive if you're looking at from a numismatic as a collectible item. And just for fun, I picked these up Thursday as well. And you guys saw the videos out there. I'm calling them rabbit turds. They are 1/4 ounce drops, silver drops. They have a company, I don't know if it's a mint or what, but a company called Brittany's Boutique on around the outside of the drops. I have no idea who this Brittany Boutique is, but the majority of these have that on the outside of the drops. It's pretty cool. I picked them up Thursday as well. And oh, Mrs. Hoosier's got the bag that we bought today. Of course, you guys know I have my statehood book, which, okay, I do have a little bit of collector bug in me. But anyway, the statehood book that I have, I picked up some more. We picked up enough that we could to fill the book up mostly. There's still a few spots left that require some silver pickups, but will come as they come, when they come. or I'll do what I did a couple months back, and I'll buy a statehood silver set, and I'll crack the case in order to harvest the coin for my book. I'm okay with that. So if yeah, toothpaste exactly silver gold. They were Seeker's look when he was watching that video was priceless. I was looking at it and I was cringing, and I'm not a collector. So if you guys did not hear, tonight's Silver Stacker Bingo is a special Easter version, and that is as much as I'm saying about it tonight. You'll find out soon, for anyone that comes over to Silver Stacker Bingo, you'll find out soon what is going to be the special show and the special prizes that will be given out tonight. So I hope you can come back by in about 45 minutes to an hour or so to partake of Silver Stacker Bingo. Hope you can make it. I'm going to go ahead and let you go so I can start getting things ready for the bingo show. We will see you here in about, well, I'll start the stream up here in about half an hour, 35 minutes or so. Start turning things on. We'll hang out, do what we always do before the actual start of the games themselves around 6:30, and then you'll see what I have in plan for y'all for the Easter version of Silver Stacker Bingo. See you in a bit. Just keep stacking.